Hi everyone, it's Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share Fab Friday Facebook Live. And we are going to get started with a little baby card today. We're going to make a little elephant bundle baby card. It's such a cute little stamp set, and it's one of those things that I purchased specifically to make a baby card with for a very special neighbor friend of mine who's having her very first baby. And I love it. It's not a very expensive bundle, and elephants are always really popular with baby cards. But this stamp set can be used for so much more. It doesn't have to be for babies. It can be for little spring thank you cards as they show in the annual catalog, or you could also use it for a friendship card or a congratulations card. You know, anybody that likes elephants is going to enjoy this stamp set. And I have to say, the punch is pretty cool because if you want to cut out some contrasting ears to make your elephant pop a little bit, the ears can be cut out separately. And if you like a real sparkly eye on your elephant, you could also cut out a little tiny black eye, or maybe you could use a black foil paper, give that eye a little bit of twinkle. So there's a little tiny circle in that punch that you can use for the elephant eye as well. So thank you so much for joining me. Welcome everybody. We are going to flip this camera down and get started. So just hang on a minute and I'll be showing you the card we're going to make. So let me sit down. The first thing that we're going to need, well, let me see. I should show you what we're all using first. So we've got the stamp set, the coordinating punch. I'm going to set that aside for a minute. We have Best Route Designer Series paper because it has a gray in here that I thought was going to go great with these elephants, which these cute little tiny squares just look great on baby cards, I think. And then, of course, there's some other really nice paper in here. I like the bikes. It's a good travel paper, and it's a good paper for making guy cards because it's got a lot of those blues and grays. Here's some airplanes, so I like that. We also have some coordinating cardstock that you can purchase to go with this, and it has 8 blueberry bushel, 8 mango melodies, and 8 gray granites, so that's kind of nice. So we are going to start with our card base. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong one. And that's going to be in blueberry bushel, and it's 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So we're cutting our 8 1/2 by 11 paper in half the long way, scoring it at 5 1/2. And then of course I went ahead and actually let me use my bone folder. I love the bone folders from Stampin' Up because I like my cards to lay flat while I'm working with them. Less chance of them popping up and getting into ink pads and things like that. All right, and then the next thing we're going to need is some of that Best Route Designer Series paper. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, and we're just going to put that on with some snail because, how about that? I don't have any glue on my desk, so it's going to be snail all day, baby. So let's go ahead and put this on. All right, so that is on. Now we're going to do our inside panel first, just because it's so nice and simple. We are going to start with some Whisper White paper. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to put it on here so you can see it. That's our standard panel, whether it's for the inside of the card or the outside of the card. I like that size because it leaves a nice border around the edge. Then we're going to flip it over, and I have a little strip here at the bottom. And this is a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And we are going, oh, I suppose you want to see what the inside of the card even looks like. I don't think I showed you. Here's the outside, and here's the inside. I'm going to a baby shower on Sunday, and so I wanted to make sure that I get that little umbrella in there because, after all, it is a baby shower. So we're going to take the congratulations and the blueberry bushel, and we are going to stamp that first, and then we'll stamp the umbrella right above it. So we'll make sure it's not upside down. And it is upside down. Oh, for crying out loud. I did not do that right. So let me grab another layer here. I'm going to fix this real fast because, you know, who wants an upside down sentiment? So let me grab another little strip of this 1/2 inch gray granite paper that's from the Best Route Designer Series paper. We're going to set this right here. How many of you have ever stamped a sentiment upside down? Just curious. Oh yes, okay, so I'm not the only one. I'm going to take this little extra edge off with the scissors. There we go. So it's nice and neat. Then we're going to grab this congratulations one more time. I'm going to stamp it over here. Ah, yes, now we have it right side up. No more accidental stamping. So we'll set this right here. Then we'll grab the cute little umbrella. We're going to put this right over the top like this. And we're good to go with our inside panel. So I'm going to take my snail, run a strip along the top, and we're going to set this on the inside panel of our card. All right, so now we need to get another sheet. Oh my gosh, you guys, look what I just did. I just put the inside panel onto, it's now backwards on my card. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay, so it's just maybe one of those mornings, but look at that. Thank goodness I used snail today and not my glue, although I would never use glue on Whisper White anyway. So this looks like it'll be okay. So I think we saved the day here. So we're going to flip this over. Here's the front of our card, and then here's the inside panel. Oh my Lord, what is going on? Just one of those days, I guess. Okay, so we're going to stop it right here, and everything's going to be perfect from here on out. All right, so here we go. We've got the front of our card. So now we're ready to go ahead and do a little stamping for that. But we first have to go to the Big Shot, and we are going to use some edgelets. I'm going to show you the edgelet I picked. We have this wonderful set of edgelets in our catalog. I don't even know for sure the name of them, but they're very, very elegant. We used them in Kari's wedding. I'm going to look here real quick in my catalog. I actually label my catalog with all these different labels so I can find things quickly. So I'm going to go back to the Big Shot area. So I've got my folders in the Big Shot, but the edgelets are here. There they are. They're called, I'm going to bring it up to the camera so you can see it, Delicate Lace Edgelets. And I thought I had them out here, but I don't. So I'm just showing them to you in the catalog. And the one that I picked to use is this one that I think looks like little hearts here on this bottom lace piece. So I thought that was perfect for a baby card. It just adds such a cute little touch with that whole little row of hearts. So what I did to cut this is I used my Big Shot, of course, and this is my layering. I have my magnetic platform. I have my cut plate, and then let me see if I can find, yes. So you want to know the size that I started out with here, but I used Blueberry Bushel, and it's 3 inches by 3 7/8. That's the rectangle size that I used. Just put this little framelit down here on the very edge so that, look, it's hardly cutting anything off at all. Now, for those of you that love little scraps, this would make a cute little banner. So, I mean, if you wanted to, which I don't, but maybe you do, you could actually add a cute little banner on your card just by using that little edgelet piece. I mean, wouldn't that be cute too? Or maybe up like this. I mean, so there's little things you can do with your scraps that are lots of fun. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. Then this little piece we're going to take away. And then, of course, it's always a good idea, if you haven't purchased this yet, it's a good investment. It's our Big Shot die brush. And I keep mine in a paper pumpkin box, so I can just put this right here. I'm going to flip it over. And then you can just run your die brush over the top, maybe both sides. And look at that. All of those little tiny dies, all those little tiny pieces are out, and most of them stay contained in that paper pumpkin box. Okay? All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of Whisper White paper, And we're just going to set this here. Actually, this is not the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to set this aside because we need to do some stamping. Where's my scrap white? I had it here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I just have a scrap piece of white paper, and we're going to stamp our cute little elephants. So I've got the gray granite. We're going to open this up. We're going to ink up these elephants, and we're gonna stamp one, and look how cute he is. And then I think we're just gonna go ahead and punch him out, and then we'll stamp the other one. So we'll get him all lined up, give him a little punch. There he goes. So he's ready for the card. Then we're gonna stamp the second one. This is the littler elephant. I'm gonna stamp him here. And again, we're going to line him up and punch him out. So, can you see what I'm doing here? I hope so. Get him all lined up and then give it a little punch. Now I'm going to take this away from the camera because I don't want little punches going everywhere. So I'm just going to punch this off to the side where I've kind of held it over my wastebasket. And then we have our two little cute elephant punch outs that are just super adorable. All right, I do want to share something with you. The very first time I used this stamp set, I got elephants that look like this. So I want to show you the difference. So let me hold this up nice and close to the camera. Can you guys see the difference between these elephants? We've got one where all those fine little detailed lines are all sort of obscured. And then we have the second one that looks, you know, beautifully perfect. So what was the difference? The difference is that my ink pad, the first time that I stamped, was way, way too juicy. So to make sure that your ink pad is not too juicy, what I like to use are, just use a piece of scrap paper. I happen to have a piece of our designer series paper, kind of chipboard here, and I use the more absorbent side. We had one side that's kind of glossy, and then we have one side that's more absorbent. And if you have too much ink on your ink pad, you can just go like this, press it in, give it a second to soak in, lift it up, and that will take some of the excess ink off so that you get a little bit better stamping on your elephant. So that's something you want to pay attention to when there's a lot of fine details in the thing that you're stamping. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep working. We've got our piece of Whisper White. This is 2 1/4 by 3 5/8. Yes, I do have some kind of odd measurements here, but there's a reason for that. I wanted it all to look just perfect. So to do that, I had to come up with a few little, you know, I had to adjust my measurements a little bit. So here we go. We're going to just take some snail on the back, and we are going to set this in so that it looks all pretty even. And then we are going to wrap our ribbon. So I've got the ribbon right here. And we're going to cut a little bit off. We're going to make it a little bit bigger than the panel that we're wrapping it. And this is where we are going to have our elephant standing. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it so it's even with the bottom of my Whisper White panel. So I'm going to flip that over. And then, of course, I like to just use some Scotch tape because it's just so nice and handy, and it's quick, and I know it will stay. So now I'm going to flip this around, and there we go. So cute and easy, and it's going to coordinate. This lovely lipstick ribbon is going to coordinate with the little hearts that we're going to be stamping onto here. So one little elephant is going to go right here, and then the other little elephant is going to go right here. This to me looks like the mama elephant, and there's the baby elephant. Then we're going to take our lovely lipstick, I'm going to open it up, and we are going to stamp a whole little shooting out of hearts. So we're just going to set this here. And there it is. All right, so now all we have to do is set our elephants in here. So let me do that. So we can set this one here. Right above that anchor line. Because if you just have your elephants sort of sitting there, you know, like in mid-air, it sort of looks like they're in outer space. So that's why I often use ribbons and lines to kind of anchor everything down so it sort of looks like they're actually standing on something. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab some scrap paper, and I have it right here. I am going to stamp "Welcome, little one." Or what does it say? Hello. What does it say? It says, "Hello, little one." Guess what? I don't have to worry about if I'm stamping it upside down because we're going to punch it out with a circle. So I just inked it up in Blueberry Bushel. I'm stamping it on scrap, and I'm going to take my 1 1/4 inch circle punch and just punch that out. So that's pretty easy. The next thing we're going to do is take a 1 3/8 inch circle punch. So the punch out is going to be 1/8 inch larger than this. And we're going to do that with the lovely lipstick paper. And here we are. And then we're going to just take my snail here and we're just going to attach this to the circle. Let's see if we can get that in there somewhat even, and it looks good. Then I'm going to put a little bit of snail here along the bottom. And we'll set this right here. Oh, you know what? I don't want to do that. I'm going to take this off because I'm going to do this a little different. The reason I don't want to pop up this entire panel is because these are a little delicate down here, so I don't want that getting messed up. And so if I put dimensionals all over here, there's a chance that these would get messed up fairly quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to put snail all along here, and I'm actually going to put this flush to the front of my card. So I'm just kind of getting it in here, maybe down a little bit. I'm looking to make my right and left sides even, and then I want a little bit more space here at the top because we're going to have this little sentiment sort of jutting out. So now I'm going to put dimensionals on that sentiment. Now we're ready to add the finishing touch to this card. This was a pretty quick card to do today. So we're just going to set this in here so it looks about right. Give that a little press, and our card is complete. Isn't that adorable? So here are the 2 cards that we created today. Have a great day, everyone, a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.